GM Crypto News Analysis here. It is February 11th, and before I get this video, please read the disclaimer below on my take on the shilling of the tokens. So let's talk about the price action really quick about the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, as we can see from here, it has pretty much was trying to retest this 98K zone, which is the point of control, which is pretty much the average zone of Bitcoin here, and it essentially rejected from it. And now I'm actually pretty biased for Bitcoin to actually go lower and sweep down. Perhaps low 90s is possible, but based off the liquidation heat map, it's mostly concentrated around 93K. So right now, liquidation heat map rise, a lot of liquidity is stacked in this 94, 93K range. So it's pretty possible to go there. But as if we also look at perhaps on the daily, if we look at the 100 EMA, the 100 EMA is stacked at 93K. So it's actually pretty possible that we could see Bitcoin go down 96K to 93K. And what does that mean for the alts? Well, they're going to get fucking destroyed. So what I would do on days like these, so nobody's really expecting this yet. I mean, if you also zoom out a Bitcoin, we've been in this bearish trend for the last few weeks or so. This choppy price action is horrible for alts, by the way, but we could see it finally flush out the liquidity down here before it starts its uptrend back into the higher range. And then we'll see if it's going to consolidate there and perhaps break out and go to like 120K or something. But that's probably going to be not until around March or so. But at least short term, I'm a little bearish on Bitcoin's price action also overall. So it's most likely going to sweep this liquidity down here. Could it go below 90K, go to 89? That would be in case of a really bad news catalyst. But at least in terms of price-wise, the price wants to go lower to 93K-ish, especially tapping this EMA and fulfilling that. And liquidation heat maps also is telling me that 93K is where it wants to go. So I'm pretty short-term bearish on Bitcoin. I know in the last video I was saying, oh my gosh, maybe it's going to go back up here to the higher. No, I did some more thinking about it, and I think I'm actually a bit more short-term bearish on it. So in any case, I personally am preparing some liquid in case it goes down there. And in case it's not, well, I'm still allocated somewhat, so it's not going to be a big deal. But what I would be preparing for is perhaps a bit of a liquidation down here again. Because you also have to realize when it had this huge fucking liquidation event, that's not really bullish. It's most likely it's going to go back all the way up and then retest that candle somehow. And it seems that I think it will be retesting this huge liquidation event. And then after that, we could see it go all the way up to the upper ranges, and then all the altcoins can go fucking insane again, which I believe is going to be AI coins. So I'm going to talk about that. But like briefly looking at Bitcoin dominance. So yeah, it's pretty fucking strong, up only. Ethereum also looks pretty Ethereum will also go lower as a result if Bitcoin does that. So Ethereum, I'm pretty biased for 2,500, 2,400 range in the next few days or so. Very, very good times to pick up good projects. And I would say look at AI. And Solana as well, yeah, could also go a little bit lower. So that's my current bias for majors. And if we look at a cookie top fund dashboard as well, so market cap wise, nothing really too crazy to say here, but I'll talk about the price action of the altcoins here. So AI is actually gaining a lot of mind share once again, and virtuals especially is recovering quite nicely because of its listing on Solana. I'm going to talk about that a little later, but it's starting to recover a bit here. So I would say AI is actually starting to return back with its mind share here. I don't think it's going to be meme coins anymore to go, but actually AI coins now, especially how fast they bounce. So even Ray, for example, Ray is bouncing pretty nicely from the bottom, and also Game as well. Game is really holding up pretty well from the bottom as well. So tokens like these, the infra, so I would say Game, Ray, and Acolytes are probably the best options on base AI if they can fucking load. But also, if we look at Solana AI, so one of the strongest coins on Solana AI, so AI16Z is actually recovering really nicely from the bottom here from around 430. I was gonna buy it here, but I was like, maybe it was gonna retest, but no, it fucking went crazy. And then also, if you look at Audic, so on Solana, Audic is probably the best infrastructure token now. It is definitely the strongest. It's pretty much bounced 2x from the lows, even in the shit-ass market conditions. So imagine what happens when Bitcoin, it finally stops fucking us and finally retests its low liquidity level and starts going higher. The ARC is easily going to 1 billion. So this is insane. I don't have this token yet, but I might be looking into buying it when we see the pullback, which I'm completely more biased towards right now, more short-term bearish instead of bullish. I just think probability-wise, it's more stacked towards that zone there. But that's also going to see some pullbacks for altcoins for everything. But I would say overall, look at coins like AI. AI is bouncing absolutely insane, especially in this small little bounce like yesterday when it was trying to retest 98K. If it did break through it, AI coins would go much, much higher. So in comparison, they like base meme coins. I don't know why I'm fucking watch isn't working, but base meme coins actually haven't moved that much. So you kind of just see where the market's more interested in. Like Keycat, for example, still pretty much bottoming here, going sideways, and Keycat will be very fine, but AI is catching more bids currently. And if you also look at Solana memes, so I don't know why my watch list is so shit right now, but things like Popcat, which is essentially the main Solana meme, I would say the bid, it's also looking pretty but the Coinbase listing within the next few days should make it very, very nice. So I would say that if you are interested in perhaps trading this, like as a long or something, it's probably a very good time, assuming like Bitcoin goes down to like 93K-ish, as I would think it would go down to, and this goes a little lower, probably tapping this zone again. It's a very good longing opportunity because Popcat's going to be very, very nice, especially if the Coinbase listing was happening in 2 days, which is going to inject more liquidity to this token and essentially put cat memes very, very in a very nice state. So I was saying earlier, cat memes about Michi, Mini, Glora, Pashada Cat. Like these cat memes are betas to Popcat, and Popcat sends, the betas will send as well. So I would say look at Solana memes if you want to play them. I guess they're also a good option, but I would still say AI is probably the best option currently to bid into. Meme coins are good too, but currently, as we're seeing in this market conditions, especially in the shit ass one, and we're seeing how strong ARK is, it's just market's telling you what he wants you to bid. So I'm just going to bid accordingly. I still think base memes, Solana memes are going to be fine though. But let's look at the tweets here. So the manipulation on Popcat chart was the most obvious of them all. Since early November, it was this constant dumps while coins like Farcoin are running pure agony for holders, and came last week's liquidation event in the wake to 150 mil, forcing many to sell a loss. Exactly what whales needed, accumulate the lows and drop the Revolut and Coinbase listings. Now the ones who have sold have to buy back higher. Brutal but classic. Yeah, so that's another thing you got to realize about these markets where they're pretty much heavily manipulated. Even these like large cap coins, they never go up only, and they will go down at a point. The correction, you could argue if that's due to some market manipulation or not, but in any case, a lot of coins, especially meme coins, have this market manipulation behind them, and that's also what drives their price action. So if you approach these meme coins with that perspective that there is a larger force, essentially, like if you see big buys, big sells at these weird times, you're like, what the fuck, bro? Are they actually cheats? No, these are most likely market makers that are essentially trying to paint the chart to go a certain way and fuck with your emotions and make you capitulate so they can fill their own bags. So approach the meme coins with that mindset, and you'll do much better as a shark in the space. But let's look at the next tweet. If our friends over at Trueflation are onto something, bond yields have certainly peaked here. Huge signal. So yeah, so from an investing point of view for Bitcoin, so this is a bit midterm. This is not extremely short term, next few days or so. But as you guys can see from the bond yields, well, they seem to be peaking around here. And as we know that the bond yields are a bit of a non-stationary data, or at least stationary data, they like to oscillate around this middle zone. And we know what happens when the bond yields go down. And when bond yields go down, people are less motivated to hold bonds, which is essentially the dollar. And they're going to look for riskier assets so they can get the same amount of results. So they're going to look at things like Bitcoin, or I don't know what else risk on assets better than Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is the king of all risk on assets. So it's probably going to be that. And you know what that happens for our bags here. So quite a bullish thing, at least from a macroeconomic perspective. But let's look at the next tweet. Betting on seller exhaustion, my strategy for technical bounces. We've seen a clear seller exhaustion setup over the last 3 days, and I traded using this approach. Here's a quick look at how I play the setup. So he just gave me some tips. He gives really good advice. But one, stick to the most recent solid narrative. Focus on the most dominant recent narrative that has lasted more than a few days. People actually enjoyed it. It had actual comedians and holders for virtuals. In this case, it was AI, clearly obvious for anyone tracking the market over the last few months. Other narratives weren't even close. Two, reframing the approach. It's about signal confluence, not catching bottoms. The game is about finding the best confluence of signals and betting on seller exhaustion, not nailing the exact bottom. The goal is to enter when risk reward is optimal after sellers are exhausted and prices stop bleeding. You're not trying to predict the exact bottom. You're stacking probabilities and positioning when the conditions align in your favor. What to look for: sentiment shift, shorts pile in aggressively, but price stops reacting to the downside. Majors absorbing bad news. BTC East souls shake off negative headlines more easily, signaling sellers are losing control. Narrative leaders stabilizing. The strongest projects within the narrative stop making a new low, start consolidating on key supports. Technical seller exhaustion signals, multi-time frame confluence, decreasing sell volume, failed breakdowns, wick heavy candles. Once these signals align, you're not guessing, you're taking a high conviction entry with clear invalidation. Three, pick the top projects within that narrative. Prioritize projects with real fundamentals, strong attention, or those that align with the latest catalyst. Ideally, the large plus mid caps at T1 listings allows the centralized exchange players to participate. Select 2 to 3 projects per market cap sector for focus, large caps, mid caps, small caps. The goal is concentration, not diversification. pick a niche in size. For this run, I had large caps, Autic Coin, mid caps, Ava, Bid, Alk, low caps, shared in Telegram. I think these are good picks, by the way. But 4, look for a strong technical setup plus community flywheel. Choose setups with clear technical and validation levels. Prioritize assets of a strong active community. Once price moves slightly, they amplify the momentum. Once the socials kick in, create a self-reinforcing flywheel. 5, start with T1 listings and perps first for your picks if possible. Centralized traders are often the smartest money in these conditions. They look for clean setups, have no bag holder bias, and are eager to take stabs at good plays. They tend to bet on the best proxies of the narrative, which is why I prefer starting with perps for my picks. Liquidity is another key factor. Conditions are on always a deal, so prioritizing coins at tier 1 exchange listings and perp market allows for better execution and lower slippage. Once large and mid caps in the sector show validation, on-chain activity, centralized exchanges over on-chain. When perp plays start working, rotate into on-chain, but time it right. Be early, but not too early. Getting in too soon can leave you stuck waiting for attention. Sizing gradually, on-chain liquidity is thin, and you don't want to be the only one moving the chart. Favor new project stealer in your pick meta. On-chain attention spans are shorter, and recency bias pays. To reiterate, in markets like these, it's not about catching bottoms, it's about stacking the right signals, positioning conviction, and letting the market do the rest. Yeah, I completely agree with this guy's take here. So essentially, TLDR. So we have this huge selling exhaustion effect where everyone's pretty much down a lot, and a lot of coins are bottoming. So what you basically do the research, find the tokens that are the strongest, and then develop some conviction for them. Bid at the bottoms. You don't have to buy all at once. You dollar cost average over the next few days or weeks or so, because you're not going to do V-shaped recovery most likely, and just fucking relax after you've done that. Of course, this works really well if you have a huge fucking portfolio. Like, I would say this works if you have maybe high 5 figures, low 6 figures, I would say, like as a bare minimum to do this type of strategy where you have multiple coins. If you only have a smaller amount, then you most likely just want to pick maybe 1 to 3 instead and then just chill, and you could just do that, right? But it's probably also good to look at lower caps as well to try to do a little bit of trenching to multiply your money, since they have the amount of liquidity for that. But that's pretty much that tweet. I like it a lot. But let's take the next one. We're listing Virtuals IO on Solana tomorrow on Kraken. Funding has been enabled. Trading will go live at 15 UTC tomorrow. Trade here. Yeah, so Virtuals is coming to Solana, which is very, very good because there's a lot of liquidity at Solana compared to base. So that's going to be quite good. And yeah, Virtuals also live on Moonshot. So also very good. We know that Moonshot onboarded a shit ton of retail last time with the Trump token. So when the whole mania starts again, when Bitcoin starts going to higher prices, well, you know what's going to happen for Virtuals. So let's look at the next tweet. Hot take, but I think people saying agents will replace humans are wrong over the long term. Agents are already capable of doing this. Look at the disruption happening in the customer support sector. And take into account how quickly software engineering agents are improving, it's a matter of time before 70% of junior roles work gets automated, which means humans will be freed up to do more impactful work with agents initially. But what happens when the agents outsmart humans in certain roles of authority or ownership? You have humans working for agents, not just the other way around. Yes, I completely agree with this guy, where he's essentially saying that the agents, well, yeah, they are going to replace the humans, but there's also going to be a time where pretty much everything's going to get replaced, and maybe you're going to be working for the agents. So yeah, let's look at the next tweet. I think many would benefit from stepping back more often. Most traders stay locked in, swinging at every pitch, but clarity comes from distance. A fresh mind catches what a tired one misses. The market rewards for position, not constant activity. Yeah, I really like this guy's take, but essentially, sometimes you just have to take a break and then just do the research and position yourself. But let's look at the next tweet. I'll add to this: the money's made in the buying, not the selling. Sounds contradictory. Here's what I mean: a good entry on a bad coin will always outperform a bad entry on a good coin. So buy slowly and sell fast. Let the prices you want come to you, and never go all in at once. Crypto will always offer more opportunities. Be patient, more selective with your entries. Chances are you'll still be in crypto for years to come. So don't gamble everything on making it in 2025, only to end up worse off than you started. Yeah, so crypto is a marathon, not a sprint. And yeah, I really like this take where you want to buy in slowly and then sell fast. So okay, that kind of depends, but I mean, based on what we've seen, that the breakouts are a lot shorter than the consolidation phases. So that actually does hold some truth there. So I do like his advice. You should implement that as well. Well, this next tweet. DKing Aeon, I've seen the largest inflows of base AI agents, so he's basically shilling these tokens. But I was basically looking at them, and I have them on the watch list. I've been watching for a while, and they were at very nice prices. Okay, Aeon's actually bouncing pretty nicely today. But if you look at the chart, it's pretty much down only. And I've seen this chart many, many fucking times before with Ava, for example, and it did a huge fucking rally upwards. So I would say looking at the creator bid tokens is not a bad idea, essentially, especially since they pulled back this hard, and we know that they've still been building these tokens, I think. But this is essentially very, very nice opportunities for reversals within the next few days, especially with these creator bid tokens, where creator bid's not really been the focus. because of the AI agent meta not being super great because of Bitcoin. But these tokens, when Bitcoin behaves again, can easily do something like this in the next few days, which is huge fucking multiples, especially with these reversals. So it's very nice to look at these tokens as well. But let's look at the last tweet. And you think the top is in, yeah, Bitcoin unique addresses create per day. So as you guys can see, the Bitcoin thing is, as you guys can see, is an S-curve, exponential, and then it's more logarithmic. And people are saying this fucking retarded things. ETS might double that metric compared to past cycles, right? But like, it's not, they don't understand how this means, where the addresses created per count, it's going to be an S-curve because there's only so many addresses that can be created per person. Of course, when AI comes in and AI agents are all over the internet, that can change and it actually can become exponential again. But for now, as soon as humans using the blockchain, then it's going to be an S-curve since there's only so many humans, right? And I mean, I guess you can make infinite amount of addresses, but there's only so many addresses people will make because there's too many to essentially deal with. But as you guys can see from here, it's a bit of a drawdown ever since this zone here, but perhaps it could be, it's essentially, as long as it's not trending towards zero, we're going to be fine. As long as it's going to be in this mid-range of 400K or so per year, it's going to be very, very good for Bitcoin's price action. But that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. And yeah, short-term bearish right now. You could look to, you could do some research here. If you have tokens, I guess you could sell a little bit for buying a little lower if you want to. I'm biased that we will go lower. I mean, if we do go up from here, okay, then I'm still allocated, so I'm not going to miss out on it. But I'm more biased for a short-term dump, at least to fill the wick down there. 93K I think is very, very realistic here, and then I think we will actually bounce from that. It depends on if there's like a bearish catalyst though. If there's like war news, then okay, we're gonna dump the 80s, then it's gonna be pretty fucking ugly for alts. But it's more probabilities it will bounce from there, retest 98K as a point of control, and then perhaps we could see it go up to the high hundreds, which is gonna be quite nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. Look at AI, do the research, and yeah, I'll see you guys.